Don't fall for the headline. Scott and I have been on social media. If you've been on the news, you've probably heard a lot of just different things about the housing market, and a lot of them just aren't true. And so Scott and I wanted to just go over a little bit of that today. One of the headlines that we saw recently was Market Watch, dramatic increase. Foreclosure filings are up more than 150% from last year. Scott, can you shed a little bit of light on this and kind of give us like the real scoop on it?
Yeah, definitely. If we go back to foreclosure activity all the way back to 2008, you can see that those numbers were fairly high. In 09, they went up. In 10, they went up again. We peaked right here in 10. Everybody remembers what that was like. But then things started to calm down and foreclosure activity came down. Well, look, last year we hit like this low of 65. And what they're purporting in the headline right now is this difference between 2021 and 22. It is 150% increase. What you got to understand is that there was a moratorium on foreclosures in 20 and 21, which artificially held these low. So yeah, it is up, but it's really not bad. I mean, look at these numbers here. If you go back to 19 and 20, that move from there to there was a decrease of 44%. There was no headline on that. Here was another decrease here of 61%, no headline here. And if you look at this number, it's really still below average. Like that's a really, really low number for foreclosure. So there's nothing to panic about here. Definitely do not sit back and say, oh, I'm going to wait until later this year and go find a really good deal on a foreclosure, because that's not likely to happen at all. These numbers are really, really low.
Right. And I guess the reason that we're seeing that too is the average equity that a homeowner has. I mean, back in 08, average was around 19%. And right now we're looking at it and the average homeowner has around 58%. When you have 58% equity in a home, you've got a lot of options. There's a lot of ways to pivot, if something were to come up. And so that's why we're probably just seeing the number being so low right now.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody with 58% equity goes to the bank and says, well, I can't make my payments, go ahead and take my house. Everyone has options with the kind of equity they have. And this is just, again, the kind of stuff that's very misleading in the headlines, that those people are trying to sell news, right? And so they do stuff that's got a shock factor that instills some fear. But you don't have to be misled by any of that stuff. If you see something, or if you're concerned about some aspect of the market, reach out to any of us on the Asbell team. We'd be happy to help talk through that, provide some clarity, and tell you what's really going on in the market.